And good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Dodd in here with you on your Saturday. It is 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, and we are going to talk some weather tonight. This is Weather Talk Live. This is an episode that we're going to be doing more of, and it really gives us an opportunity to just sit back and chit-chat about weather, answer your questions, talk about everything weather. And we're going to do this at different times, but certainly leading up to the possibility of winter weather, severe weather. We'll be doing this a good bit. So we hope that you will have a good time with us this evening. We hope that you'll participate in the chat room. One thing I want to show you right quick is that we can see your chat. We can see your chat there on the screen, and as you send those chat messages, we will see your comments there up on the screen, like Connie. Connie's watching us from Tin Shop, Alabama this evening. Deborah Brown is watching us as well. This is some brand new high-tech stuff we got going on here, so I'm going to probably have to do some fine-tuning on it, but you kind of get the idea of how this is going to work this evening as we talk about the possibility of some frozen precipitation as we head toward the first part of your week. We got Foster's Crossroads in the house, Franklin, Georgia. Hey, Emily. Thomas Perry's watching us. Thank you, Thomas. Tammy Farr, The Rock, is in here this evening. There's Lynn watching in Wedowee. Let's see. Boy, y'all are hammering away at it right now. Anniston, Alabama. There's Crystal. We got Justin watching us in Wedowee. Rome, Georgia. Hey, Michael Reynolds. Wadley, Alabama. Ashland's in the house. Hello, Pam and Mark Johnson. Jeremy Lee watching us in Casita. All right. We're getting y'all going now. Y'all fired up because you can see your text on the screen. Pretty cool stuff, huh? Yeah, maybe. Only it's not going to be very cool when we bust the forecast. We won't show that. All right, let's go talk about some weather this evening because we do have a good bit to talk about. And, of course, everybody knows you've heard that S word mentioned a time or two here recently. And so we have the opportunity for some cold weather. I mean, we know it's going to be cold next week. There's no question about that. Confidence is extremely high as far as cold temperatures are concerned. As far as precipitation is concerned, there's a question mark there, and the confidence is pretty low on the precipitation forecast at this moment. Now, I think as we get closer to the event, confidence will begin to increase when it comes to what type of precipitation, how much, and exactly where. That's the way it normally works. I mean, it's about 2 days out, 2 to 3 days out, you start to hear about the possibilities of precipitation, and then as we get closer, the Weather Service will fine-tune that forecast. But people, again, before we even get started with this, understand that forecasting winter weather in the South is it's a novelty at best. I mean, you can talk to any meteorologist you want to, and they'll tell you that the thing they dread the most is having to predict what's going to happen during the winter as it pertains to winter precipitation. They don't like doing that because it's just so hard to do, and the reason being it's just not supposed to snow in the Southeast. But we're going to give it our best shot. And so you see here the latest product from the National Weather Service out of Birmingham. These are winter storm watches. We also have a winter storm warning that's been lifted now for northern Mississippi, portions of Tennessee, and extreme northwest Alabama. We also have a winter storm watch that stretches down to just northwest of Birmingham. And so the elevated impact areas would be those areas you see there in the darker blue up there around Hamilton. In that area, snow, sleet, accumulations of up to 2 inches are possible. Some light icing is also possible, and that actually could start Sunday night in extreme northwest Alabama. And difficult travel conditions could form up there in northwest Alabama. Then in the lighter shade of blue from just north of Tuscaloosa back over to Birmingham to near Gadsden, down to around Anniston, maybe even on down into northern Randolph, Clay, Cleburne, down into portions of Coosa County, back across Chilton County, and maybe as far southwest as down there in Dallas County, around Selma, and even further south than Demopolis, down in southwest Alabama. Maybe looking at some light ice accumulations, some light snow and sleet accumulations are possible, and then the potential for a few spots of slippery roads will be possible in those areas as well. Now, I got to tell you that some of the models are telling us that there's going to be some redevelopment of precipitation even further south than that. That may be along and north of the I-85 corridor. So you folks along and north of the I-85 corridor, places like Auburn, even maybe Tallahassee, Montgomery, Millbrook, Alexander City, Lafayette, Valley, Lynette, West Point, Roanoke. There, I said it. Rock Mills, LaGrange, Franklin, Carrollton. Got to keep a real close watch on this. It's not probable, but it is possible that we will see some of these winter weather products, such as a winter storm watch or winter weather advisory, maybe pushed a little bit further south and a little bit further southeast by the time we get to tomorrow morning's weather package. Could happen tonight when they update the forecast at 10 p.m., but it's probably, if it's going to happen, it'll be more likely in the morning. So this is going to be a fluid situation. You know how it is in the South in the winter. We really kind of have to just change the forecast as we go and kind of watch out the window to see what's actually taking place out there. But just know that there is a chance. Now, we're not talking about 6 feet of snow. We're not talking about the blizzard of 93. We're not talking about Snowmageddon of 2014. We're not talking about any of that kind of stuff. We're talking about right now. Now, this is based on the information we have at the moment. We're talking about best case scenario across East Alabama and West Georgia. Probably just a mix with very light accumulations, if any at all. We're probably not talking about enough here to even make a snowball. That's not what you want to hear, is it? Well, that's the data we have at the moment from the National Weather Service. Okay, a couple of things I want to show you as we go through this evening. The first thing I want to do is back up and, well, let's show you the warning map first. This is from the National Weather Service out of Birmingham. These are the current products that are out there. Those counties that are in blue in Alabama, northwest Georgia, southern Tennessee, and Mississippi are under a winter storm watch. And then those counties that are in pink are winter storm warnings that have been issued. The extreme northwest Alabama, northern Mississippi, all this stuff may start as soon as tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. So they're going to have a much longer period of frozen precipitation up there. And we'll watch and see if the blues turn into pink. If they do, that means you've been upgraded to a winter storm warning. The criteria for winter storm warning is 2 inches or more of frozen precipitation. And then we'll see what happens down across central Alabama, east Alabama, and west Georgia. I think probably what's most likely going to happen. The counties you see in blue right now are going to go pink, which means they're going to go under a winter storm warning. And then I think you're going to see all the way down to the I-85 corridor a winter weather advisory, which means that there will be enough winter precipitation for some impact, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anything significant. I think that's what we're looking at based on the data we have at the moment. Now, let me back up, and I'm going to show you the latest model output from the high-resolution model. This is the NAM. And we're just going to kind of watch this go through. This is late tomorrow afternoon, and you see that precipitation already starting up there in northern Mississippi across Tennessee. You want to see a pretty good snow? Head to Nashville. That's where it's going to be. And then as we work into Monday, we see that icing across northwest Alabama into Monday evening and into Tuesday. You see where that ice is across North Alabama, maybe getting down into north central Alabama. And then right there at the end, notice that stuff blowing up around New Orleans. Look at the pink down there in southern Mississippi. And it does make it up into southwest Alabama as well. Now, again, folks, understand the resolution's not really good here. This time tomorrow, we'll have a much better look at what's going to happen. But this gives you a general idea of where the precipitation may set up across the southeastern United States. And this is only one model. I'll tell you that there are other models out there that show a much more aggressive weather pattern here. But we're not going to show you that because I think that's an outlier. And there are other models that don't show this much. So this is kind of in between on where the models are placing the precipitation. There's zero question we're going to have cold enough conditions. Surface temperatures are going to be cold. Air temperature is going to be cold. There's no question about that. The only question mark right now is precipitation. And some of the models are trying to suggest that we'll have a warm nose in the upper levels of the atmosphere that will work into this stuff, and that's what's going to cause all of the freezing rain. It would be snow, and then it warms up in a warm layer about 5,000 feet, and then by the time it gets to the ground, it refreezes on contact. So that's why we're looking at freezing rain here instead of all snow, because it's going to be cold enough at the surface for that to take place. Plus, for northeast Alabama, north Georgia, this is going to be more of a Tuesday morning into, especially for northeast Georgia, it's going to be more of a daytime event on Tuesday, which means you got that radiational heating coming down from the sun, and that's not going to help support snow. Though it's still going to be cold if that cold air damming or the wedge holds as strong next week as it has this week. That may change everything. We may see more snow than we think we're going to get up here in the northeast Georgia mountains because it's just been downright chilly up here on the hill for several days now. It's about to get colder. So that's a look at the latest models for whatever that's worth right now. And I got to caution you, it ain't worth much because we're still too far away from this event. All right, let me go back up here to the chat, and we'll talk a little bit. Hey, Cecilia, good to see you. I think I saw somebody in there saying they wanted one of these Dr. Don coffee cups. If if there's enough folks out there that would like one, we can make that happen. Just send me a message on Messenger, and we'll judge the interest. And if that's something that you guys are interested in, we'll see if we can't set something up for you. Hey, Jason, thank you. Well, send me a message on Messenger so I don't forget about you, and we'll see what we can do for you. Paula's watching us in Woodland. Milk sandwiches, that's correct. That's about what's about to happen. Folks, if you're on Facebook, you're going to see a link that will scroll ever so often where you have to click on Restream and allow Restream to show your username. If you don't, I don't know who you are. So when you see that link scroll up in the chat room, be sure and click on it and share. Give Restream permission to share your screen name because we're simulcasting on YouTube and on multiple Facebook pages at the same time. And so all of the chat is kind of combined together through Restream. But for some reason, Facebook says that you have to give permission for us to see your screen name. So be sure and do that. Bear, no milk, no bread, no eggs, no Kool-Aid. No, they're not out of Kool-Aid. Please tell me they're not out of Kool-Aid. That's too much. Hello, Lynette, Alabama. Yeah, Nick, I don't think we're looking at enough icing in East Alabama and West Georgia to cause any major problems. If there's going to be problems from icing, I think that's more likely in Southwest Alabama and Northwest Alabama. And I really hadn't seen any major accumulation prognostication on ice. Maybe with the exception of southern Louisiana. Down there around Lake Charles, they may be looking at a 1/4 of an inch of ice down there. That would be ugly. I don't see that anywhere in Alabama. If there is any ice, it would be, 1/10 of an inch or less based on what we know right now, which typically doesn't cause a whole lot of trouble. Hello, Valley, Alabama. Daphne. Pizza Hut in Roanoke, Alabama, checking in. Angie's watching us in Roanoke. Talladega. Good evening to you, Cindy. You're in East Alabama, so everything I've said about East Alabama applies to you. Regina's watching us in Wedowee. There's Tallahassee, Alabama. If y'all have questions, now's the time to throw them out there. St. Petersburg, watching for Randolph County. Hey, Mac Bell. Hey, Robin Hall. I can send you a link right quick, Robin, and get you on here live with us, and we can do the Don and Robin show. Brittany Fedner's wanting a recap. Yeah, I will. In just a few minutes, I'll give you a complete rundown on what we're talking about here. Hey, Jane. Lafayette? Yeah. Hey, Lafayette, you're in East Alabama. Same thing. Robin said, nope. Carroll County, West Georgia. Yep, same thing I've been saying since we started here. And I'm going to recap it again in just a minute in case you didn't get a chance to hear it. Hey, Gene, down in Prattville, Alabama, my original hometown. 1980 grad of Prattville High School. Go Lions. Yeah, it looks like the mugs may be in demand. I don't know if you can see. You get it up there when you see it real good. It's got the complete logo on it. It holds a mean cup of coffee, too. Hey, Tammy, nothing happening in Newell right now, but you're in East Alabama, so everything I've said pretty much holds true for you, too. Springfield, up there on the east side of Randolph. Are we looking at it getting bad enough to shut the roads down? I don't believe so. I don't see anything that suggests that. But again, folks, understand we're way too early. I mean, we've still got, 48 hours to go before we start to see this thing happen. So there's time for the forecast to change, either for the good or the bad. Thank you, Chiffon. Phoenix City in the house. Hey, Debbie. Clarksville. Hey, Brenda, what part of North Alabama are you in? Dennis watching us from Meriwether County. Tammy trying to wish it in here. Tiffany's watching us in Rock Mills. Josh is in Heflin, Alabama. County Road 43 is cold this evening. It is. Graham's in the house. Sherry, I really don't have a price on the mugs. I'm going to set something up, though. It seems like you guys would like to have some mugs, so I'm going to check on pricing and get something set up, and we'll put a link out there on our website, and I'll point you to it as soon as I get all that done. Let's see. Anniston, Alabama. Roy and Aaron. Wadley's in the house over on the West Bank. Catherine is in LaGrange. And Nick wants the shirt. Okay. We'll just start our own mercantile. How about that? Thanks, Tammy. Yeah, we're just chit-chatting about weather. And this is something we're going to do from time to time. For those of you that maybe are not in East Alabama and West Georgia, this is a service I started providing for East Alabama and West Georgia about 5 years ago. We are in our 5th year of Dr. Don's Weather. And for those of you that don't know me, I spent 22 years in Randolph County, Alabama, primarily on broadcast radio. Did a little TV there for a minute, and then was on radio for quite some time, and was involved in public safety, fire department, law enforcement, emergency management, and then left in 2011 and moved to the mountains of northeast Georgia, where I'm currently an emergency manager and 911 division chief in White County, Georgia. But with modern technology the way it is, we are able to do this regardless of where we are. I mean, I could be halfway around the world and still be able to provide the service for East Alabama and West Georgia that you folks deserve. Quite honestly, television's not going to do it because they can't. It's not that they don't want to. It's just it's a matter of numbers. That's what it is. Whether that's not popular, but that's what the issue is. But hey, we can fill the gap. And a lot of folks used to follow me especially when I was in radio. They knew I'd be there at 2:00 in the morning when the weather got bad. And so we're doing it again and have been doing this now for coming up on 5 years. March will make 5 years. 5 years we have been doing live severe weather coverage for Alabama, East Alabama, and West Georgia. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate those kind words. You know, part of this right here, a good chunk of this right here is still down there in Randolph County. So, hey, Sam, love you. Oh, yeah, and we picked up South Georgia on our coverage now, too. I have to watch after Albany. Got a couple of knuckleheads that live down there on the Marine Logistics Base in Albany, so I have to keep up with what's happening down there. To watch after Wadley, Alabama, because we got knuckleheads there. I have to watch after Tin Shop, Alabama, because we got knuckleheads there. And then we watch East Montgomery, pretty close. And Harris County also, as well as all of East Alabama and West Georgia. Y'all are all family as far as I'm concerned. Hello, Wedowee, Alabama. All right, let's recap what's going on. The National Weather Service out of Birmingham has issued some winter weather watches and warnings. Let me get back over there to the graphic for you. There we go. And let me put the impacts back up there for you. There we are. So the National Weather Service out of Birmingham has issued some winter weather watches and winter weather advisories for really a large chunk of the state of Alabama. We have a winter watch that's a winter storm watch that's in effect in northwest Alabama. Above that, in extreme northwest Alabama, we do have a winter storm warning that has been issued. And then the light blue you see, that's where we expect to see limited impacts. But I got to tell you, from some of the signals I'm getting from the Weather Service and some of their messages that they're sending out to emergency managers, it does appear to me that they may either extend the winter storm watch further south and east, or they may issue a winter weather advisory further south and east. Probably, if I had to guess, from the I-85 corridor back over to the Mississippi State line up to about Birmingham is probably going to be a winter weather advisory. And then from Birmingham up to about Coleman, you're probably going to see a winter storm watch issued. And then from about Coleman north, they're going to go ahead and go with a warning. And then, of course, the watch could eventually turn into a warning as well. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think it'll either happen tonight around 10 p.m. when they update the forecast, or first thing tomorrow morning. It'll probably happen about 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. And my phone will probably ring me out of the bed because I get all those alerts when they go off, even for East Alabama and West Georgia. I get everything. And actually, I really ought to bring producer Tracy in here to tell this story. Because sometimes my notifications on my phone don't wake me up in the middle of the night. I have rigged up this big, huge light that flashes and changes colors when a weather advisory is issued. Of course, I'm normally awake when we've got weather going on, but in a case like this, where we may get some warnings that are issued days before, or a couple of days, or one day before the event, I'll probably try to get some sleep tonight. So that thing will go off in the middle of the night and scare the bejesus out of you. I promise you, it's done it. But anyway, we get to find out about the stuff. Well, Terry, you're probably scratching your head over all the excitement we go through here in the Southeast over something that probably wouldn't even make your weather forecast up there in Ohio. I did spend 2 years in Chicago back in the late 80s, early 90s, and saw several events up there that rivaled anything I've ever seen, other than the blizzard of 93. That was pretty amazing. But when I lived up there, we had a couple of different events that were like, 10 inches, 18 inches of snow. And then when I moved back home, I'm going, really? We're gonna buy up all the bread and milk because there's a chance of flurries? Up there in Chicago, they wouldn't even hardly put flurries in the forecast. I mean, it would just flurry. I mean, you just knew it was going to happen. If it was cold and cloudy outside and you saw a few snowflakes, nobody even paid any attention. But anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. That light blue area is an area where we may see some impacts, but we don't expect major problems. And then the darker blue on up to the north is where there could actually be some pretty significant, relatively speaking, some pretty significant impacts from accumulation. I'll show the watch warning map for you again. From the National Weather Service, those pink counties up there in Mississippi, that's a winter storm warning that has been issued from about Tupelo north. And then south of that in Mississippi, down to just north of Meridian, is a winter storm watch. And then in Alabama, you're looking at those blue counties there in a winter storm watch. Northwest Georgia, up there around Dade County, and up into Chattanooga is under a winter storm watch, and the southern tier of counties across the state of Tennessee under a winter storm watch. Again, if you really want to see some good snow, get up tomorrow morning and travel up to Nashville, get you a hotel room, spend the night up there, but be prepared to stay a couple of nights because it's probably going to cause some travel problems up there. Nashville is going to be a good place to watch the snow tomorrow and on Tuesday. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons that northern Mississippi is under a winter storm warning is because this could actually start up there tomorrow afternoon. I don't think we see much across North Alabama, probably not until after midnight tomorrow night into the early morning hours of Tuesday. And then in North Georgia, it's going to be a daytime event. Pretty much during the day on Tuesday, and that's why we don't see a lot of watches across the northern part of the state of Georgia. I think most of North Georgia is probably going to be covered with a winter weather advisory. I doubt we go under a winter storm watch. It's possible, but it doesn't look likely at this point. This is not going to be a major snow producer anywhere in Alabama, maybe with the exception of the Tennessee Valley counties way up there right at the Tennessee state line. But across East Alabama and West Georgia, it is certainly possible to see a mixture, maybe even a light glazing or dusting on the cold surfaces would be possible as we wake up Tuesday morning. I see some road trips getting together, going to Nashville. You guys know I get on my soapbox sometimes, and typically it's something that someone puts in the chat room that gets me going, that sets me off, and I go off on a tangent and start preaching to everybody. Well, I want to show you something because this is what you're going to start seeing when I get on my soapbox. This is the mad scientist, Dr. Don. And I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you a heads up before I start preaching to you about how to stay safe during times of severe weather and winter weather. I got way too much time on my hands. That's one of those artificial intelligence apps you can put on your phone and take a picture of yourself, and then you can change it all kinds of different things. Pretty cool stuff, I think. So hang on. Soapbox alert. The last couple of weather events across Alabama have been a no-go for the most part. And meteorologists across the state of Alabama and even over here in Georgia have caught you-know-what. Some of the social media posts have just been downright ridiculous. And folks upset because we didn't get any tornadoes. Upset because we didn't get 50-mile-per-hour winds. Stop and think about that a minute, folks. Okay, so I understand. The Storm Prediction Center, which is not your local National Weather Service, by the way, did put a good chunk of central Alabama, East Alabama, middle Georgia, Carolinas under an enhanced risk for severe weather leading up to this last event. I think it was Wednesday when they did that, or maybe it was late Wednesday into Thursday. And then at the last minute, they lowered that down to a slight risk. Well, by that time, a lot of school systems and even some businesses had already planned on closing, and it was too late to retract that. So a lot of folks upset about the fact that that happened the way it did. And I'll be honest with you, that probably wasn't the best way to handle it, and they'll probably reevaluate that moving forward. Typically, you start off with a slight chance, and then when you get to within a few hours of the event, if it looks like it needs to be upgraded to a marginal risk or an enhanced risk, then that's what they will do. So that was a little bit backwards. I'll give them that much. But folks understand they were going with the information they had at the moment, and things changed. So it would have been even worse for them to stay with an enhanced risk, knowing that there wasn't an enhanced risk. So that's why they lowered it back down to a slight risk. That was the right thing to do. I believe I would have waited, though, and I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on that enhanced risk that soon. But they were just trying to get the word out there because the ingredients, really, folks, the ingredients were there. They just were not mixed at the right time to cause the event to be what it could have been. Now, I saw some folks over in Northwest Georgia just really ripping the Weather Service for all of that. I understand it may not have happened in your front yard, but it did to some extent, take place up in Gilmer County. We had 50-mile-per-hour winds up there that caused some damage, brought down some trees. So understand, too, folks, when the Weather Service puts out a weather forecast for a zone, that zone covers a relatively large area. I mean, it's more than just your town. It may be an entire county. It may be a couple of counties. It may be pieces of multiple counties in a particular area. They can't tell you exactly what's going to happen at your front door. The forecast is good for that area. So it may happen, down the street, may happen in your front yard, may not. Just keep all that in mind. And, of course, parents, you can still keep your kids at home if you feel like it's unsafe. Schools have to make that call pretty soon, or as soon as they think they can, because there's a whole lot more involved in it than just telling folks to stay at home. You got buses to be concerned about, and sometimes gusty winds, because they're high-profile vehicles, have a lot to do with why buses can't run, and so school has to be canceled or delayed. I've never, in all of my emergency management years, I've never told a school system what they should do. That's not the way it works. I'm speaking of Randolph County schools, Roanoke City schools, and now White County schools up here in northeast Georgia. We advise them on what we think the weather is going to do, and I have always been of the opinion to not pull that trigger until we get to within 12 or 6 hours from the event. So you've got time to really see what's going on. So that's the way we kind of work it up here. What is the white area? The white area is nothing. That's just a map. The blue is a winter storm watch, and the pink is a winter storm warning. The white is absolutely nothing at this point. That may change. Okay, so that was my soapbox for now. Knock it off with the nasty comments on social media. I mean, look, folks, public safety is what I do. And anybody that's in public safety, their number one goal is to keep you and your family safe. We're going to blow it every now and then. It's not intentional. It's just the way it is. And just be thankful it didn't happen. Well, Mackenzie, this doesn't mean LaGrange is not going to get anything. This is just the forecast at this moment. Understand how this works. We don't know what's going to happen for sure. All we know is it's going to be brutally cold. And there's going to be some precipitation in the area. We don't know yet exactly what's going to happen in LaGrange. Gold Ridge is in the house. I think South Alabama, along the I-85 corridor and to the southwest, there is a, Tanner, I think there is a chance for freezing rain down there. Maybe even in your area. It's pretty bizarre. Right now it looks like Lake Charles, Louisiana, or just north of New Orleans, if the models are right. Who knows? They may not be. But if the models are right, we're maybe looking at a quarter of an inch of ice down there around Lake Charles. I mean, that'll cause problems. I don't think you're looking at that much down there in Monroeville, but, some freezing rain is certainly possible in your area. Again, this time tomorrow night, I think we'll have a much better idea. Hey, Bluff Springs in Clay County, Alabama. Absolutely, Mackenzie. Absolutely. Be prepared, and if it don't happen, big deal. You know what? Sooner or later it will, and you'll be ready. Yeah, we're going to go to the top of the hour. We're going to go to 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. So if you have questions, comments or concerns, now's the time to throw it out there. It's Weather Talk Live. This is something we're going to start doing more of. We love to come on here and this is my most favorite thing to do. I mean, I enjoy doing this more than coming on with serious, severe weather. I really do, because that's a love-hate relationship right there, folks. I mean, I'm fascinated by weather, obviously. But it just rips my heart out when we've got people that are hurting. And I just, so I offset that with the hope that maybe we can help someone keep from getting hurt. So that's kind of a love-hate thing. But doing this, there's nothing to worry about outside, and we get to sit around and talk about it and cut up and have a good time and jump on the soapbox. This is what I really enjoy doing. Hey, Omaha, Alabama. Thank you, Kim. We appreciate you guys watching us. Hobson community in the house. Angie's watching us over there on the West Bank. Pamela is in Omaha. I can tell you, folks, it's going to be brutally cold next week, whether we have any, enough snow to make a snowball fight with or not. Ranburn's watching us. Hey, Josh. Good to see you, buddy. So, if you didn't do it today, spend tomorrow, and if you're lucky enough to be off Monday, spend Monday. I'm supposed to be off Monday, but it ain't looking good. Spend what time you've got this weekend to prepare for the cold weather. You need to make sure your pipes are taken care of. If you live in an elevated structure like I do, you got to make sure that your skirting around your home is intact so that cold wind can't get under there. To protect those pipes, if your pipes are under your house like mine are, that's where you freeze. So be sure you protect your pipes. Make sure your faucets are protected. You want to make sure your automobiles are taken care of. Make sure you got enough Freon, antifreeze. You don't need Freon. You're cold enough. You need antifreeze. So make sure your antifreeze is good in your radiators. Your pets. Outdoor water hose. Hey, thank you, Kim, because I'm the world's worst at that. Make sure that you unscrew your water hose, or as producer Tracy calls them, water pipe, or hose pipe, excuse me. She said, I heard that. Unscrew your hose pipe and make sure your faucet's turned off and cover your faucet. If you have a nozzle on the end of your water hose, your garden hose, and there's water in that hose, even though you have the faucet turned off, it's going to freeze. Well, what happens when water freezes? It expands, and it will burst. A lot of times it'll burst the faucet, and then when we get above freezing, it thaws out, and guess what? You're at work, and now you have flooded your yard, and hose pipe, Tammy, hose pipe. You flooded your yard or your house, so take those hose pipes off your faucets, and let them drain so that they don't freeze. I mean, I literally had to put in one of those little gizmos that looks like an artesian well handle, because it has an opening at the bottom, so when it freezes, that bottom will open up and it won't bust the hose pipe, because I'm so bad about remembering to unscrew the hose pipe from the faucet, from the spigot. There you go, Tanner. From the spigot. Your pets. I'm going to probably spend a good bit of the day tomorrow trying to figure out what to do with, because we have like the community zoo here at our house, the neighborhood zoo. It's the Waka Mountain, North Georgia Wildlife Preserve at my house. We have everything from raccoons to possums. Even had a red fox run through the front yard. We've had bear. Of course, we have deer out the wazoo. We have coyotes, squirrels. You name it. We got it. So I got to figure out what we're going to do with all those critters to keep them from freezing to death. The domesticated ones, anyway. And monkeys. No, that's in Roanoke. That's Bernard Shepard. He called 911 one time because he thought he saw a monkey hanging from a pecan tree on Highway 22 west of Roanoke out by the Red Barn. That happened, folks. Y'all know Bernard Shepard. You'll understand. Reported it to 911. Birmingham on Tuesday, big question mark right now. If you got a doctor's appointment over there, you really need to just pay attention to the forecast throughout the day tomorrow. Let's see, Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, so we got time for you to see what. I wouldn't change anything right now. It's too soon. But let's see what's happening tomorrow, maybe first thing Monday morning, and then make a decision. I think there's a legitimate chance that Birmingham goes under a winter storm watch, probably later tonight or sometime tomorrow morning. Yeah, I don't know that they actually end up going under a warning, but I think there will be. Yeah, we got wild hogs too, country boy. We do. I don't know that Birmingham will actually go under a warning, but there could be some travel problems around Birmingham Tuesday. And it may thaw out Tuesday afternoon, but refreeze Tuesday night. Because let me tell you something. We're talking about single digits come Wednesday morning. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning is going to be downright brutal. It is going to be cold. Little rock meal slang there. And we're talking, low teens, maybe upper single digits in the Birmingham area, north. East Alabama, West Georgia, we're probably talking about mid-teens, mid to low teens. But it is going to be cold. Josh. Makes sense, though. Yes, Kim, thank you. Another great tip. Make sure, and I got to go check mine. I've already run it 3 or 4 times this year, but make sure that you have some source of heat in your well house if you have a pump. We're up here in the sticks, out in the sticks, so we definitely have a pump up here. I know a lot of you do have well water, so make sure that you have that light and make sure that light's working. If you go out there and turn it on, if it don't work, head to the store tomorrow or Monday and get you a new light and put on there. It doesn't take much. I mean, these new LED bulbs don't put off any heat, so make sure you get a condensate light or get a heat light. That's the best thing to do. Don't make that mistake. Don't put an LED light in there. I'm going to save some money on my power bill because it's outrageous, and I know it is, but those LED lights do not put off heat, so they're not going to help you any. Yeah, I dread that day, Kim. I know it's coming for me too. What's the best way to get road conditions in the early morning hours? I think probably the best thing you could do in Randolph County is sign up for Randolph County's alert system. And we'll put that number in here for you in just a few moments. HyperReach is the name of it. It's provided by the Randolph County Commission, and you text the word alert to the number, and then you'll get a link that will help you sign up for the alerts that they send out. That way you'll be getting information. If the county is noticing that there happens to be roads that are slick or dangerous, you're going to get that information through hyperreach. And just about every county in East Alabama and West Georgia has a type of mass notification. We use Code Red up here in White County, Georgia, that sends that type of information out. But there are a handful of different types of mass notifications, but they all accomplish the same thing. So check with your local emergency management agency in the county you live in. Every county has a web page. You probably go to the county website. I know you can in Randolph, but regardless of which county you live in, go to your county's website, and there will be information on there on how you can sign up for mass notification in your county, and you're going to get that information from your emergency manager. So I think that's probably going to be the best thing to do. You certainly don't want to call 911 to ask about road conditions because that ties up the emergency lines. If you know their non-emergency number, I would still encourage you not to because they get very busy during times of inclement weather. The best way to get that information is to sign up for mass notification for your local county. Anybody else with any good weather tips? Make sure you've got, if you heat with firewood, make sure that you got plenty of firewood. That's something else I'll be doing tomorrow. Now, we have conventional heat. We're backwoods, but not quite that bad. But we keep firewood. We have a wood-burning stove, and that is that's there for emergencies if we lose power. Okay, so Neil just posted a good link in there. It's algotraffic.com. That's Alabama's traffic site. So that's a good place to get information as well. Stay off of those poles when they freeze up too, and whatever you do, don't stick your tongue out there on it. Yeah, Brian, it's, I spent 6 years in a 911 center up here, and it's, and I don't mean this, folks don't think about it. They just don't realize that it's, road condition calls and when's the power coming back on. 911 has nothing to do with the power. I mean, nothing. If a tree falls and there's nobody hurt, call the non-emergency number if the road's blocked. If a tree falls on a car and somebody's trapped or hits a power line that's on fire, then you call 911. That's just the way it should be. Keep those non-emergency lines free and the emergency lines free. Folks don't understand. We watch too much TV. We're so used to the ambulance being there as soon as the commercial break is over with. A lot of folks don't understand how 911 works. I mean, at any given time, you're only talking 2 or 3 people in this center covering an entire county in rural locations across East Alabama and West Georgia. And it doesn't take but one incident to completely overwhelm those 2 or 3 people that are working in that 911 center. So be real mindful of that, and don't call 911, either the emergency number or the non-emergency number, unless it's really necessary. Yeah, Brian, I understand. I had a couple of stints back in the day. Right out of high school, I dispatched for Prattville Police Department, and we did. I did PD, fire, and EMS all by myself. And Prattville's a pretty good sized place. I mean, it wasn't huge then; it is now. And that was even before 911 was 911. Dating myself a little bit, and then Roanoke PD had dispatched for Roanoke for several years, part time, and handled fire and PD there. So. Yeah, when you're by yourself, it is rough. Hey, Sandy Knight, good to see you in here. Folks, you see some links that scroll there in the chat room to help support us if you can. We certainly do appreciate it. All this stuff does have a price tag attached to it. A lot of cost involved in equipment and subscriptions and internet and all the things. I don't care about my time. That's not the issue. There is cost involved in doing this. So anything you can do to help us out, we greatly appreciate it. We're headed into our 5th year. It's hard to believe, but come March, we'll have been doing this for 5 years for East Alabama and West Georgia, and we want to be doing it 5 years from now. So the good Lord's blessed me and put me in job situations where I can continue to do this. And we want to continue to do it as long as you guys want us to and as long as we can afford it. So please support us every chance you get. We greatly appreciate it. All right, so we're coming up on 8 o'clock. Let me go back and recap what's going on with the weather. We have another nice day on the way for tomorrow. I think Sunday's going to be pretty nice. And then things are going to start going downhill out there on Monday, maybe as early as tomorrow afternoon late and tomorrow night for northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, up into Missouri, then across into Kentucky, Tennessee, and down into northwest Alabama. We may see some precipitation start as early as tomorrow afternoon late, and certainly during the overnight we could see a little bit. And then Monday night into Tuesday morning, we're going to see the same thing happen again. But because there's a threat tomorrow night across north Mississippi, northwest Alabama, up into Tennessee, they could end up with a little more accumulation up there than what we'll see everywhere else. The main event that could potentially affect East Alabama and West Georgia will be Monday night into Tuesday morning. Right now, there are no weather watches or advisories in place for any of East Alabama or West Georgia. Birmingham, no advisories. Gadsden, you're good. Tuscaloosa, you're good. Atlanta's good. Rome, Georgia's good at the moment. I think later tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, the Weather Service updates the forecast about every 6 hours or so. Either tonight's package or tomorrow morning's package, I think we're probably going to see, at the least, a winter weather advisory that's going to move south from that blue you see there on the screen, and I think it will cover Birmingham. It may be extended all the way down to the I-85 corridor, not sure. And then I think we'll see the blue counties go under a warning. That's what I expect to happen. Now, I take the information the Weather Service puts out there and I translate it and bring it to you in a way that it's easy to understand, or at least I hope I do. I try to anyway. And that's what I expect to happen. So what does that really mean? Well, it means that there's a pretty good chance you're going to see a mixed bag of precipitation Monday night into Tuesday morning across East Alabama and West Georgia. Don't think we're looking at anything that's going to cause major travel problems. I think right now we're just talking about a mix of rain, freezing rain, and maybe a little sleet and a little snow with very, very little accumulation, if any at all, across East Alabama and West Georgia. We're talking grassy areas, maybe up in the trees a little bit, the rooftop maybe a little bit. But I don't think there's going to be enough precipitation to cause you any problems across East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, down there in southwest Alabama, there's some information out there from some of the models that indicate that there could be some icing down there. Places like Dallas County, Selma, all the way down to Oroville, and even on down into Pineapple, Monroeville, Greenville, Evergreen, those areas, I mean, and maybe even Montgomery could see a little ice during this event on Monday night into Tuesday morning. But the models are telling us the greatest accumulation of ice is probably going to be in Louisiana, around and just north of New Orleans, if you can believe that. So this is an evolving situation. It's fluid. It's changing with every package that comes out from the Weather Service, and we will have to just kind of continue to update you as we go along. So we will do that. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this evening. This is our first ever Weather Talk Live on Dr. Don's Weather. And we're going to start doing this more and more often. Odds are we'll do it again tomorrow night. We'll just kind of have to see what the forecast package looks like in the morning. We will have our primetime forecast out for you tomorrow morning, no later than 6 a.m. I kind of slept late this morning. But we'll have it out for you by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning with the latest information. Then we'll plan on doing another Weather Talk Live tomorrow night. And then we'll figure this thing out moving forward from there. Hey, City of Lincoln Police Department, good to have you folks in here. We appreciate you. We appreciate all you folks for joining us this evening. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning with your prime time.